Welcome back, Leominsterites. I'm your state representative, Natalie Higgins, and I've got a little bit of a bittersweet episode this month. So we're shooting our June episode at the end of May because you may or may not be aware, but my legislative aide, Taylor Landry, who's been with me for almost 2.5 years, right from the beginning, is moving on. And so I wanted to make sure that you got a chance to see her and for us to talk about the 2.5 years that we worked together and also introduce our new legislative aide to you that is a familiar face for a lot of you. So I'm really excited to be here with Taylor. I'm super sad that we're coming up to the end. So her last day is May 31st. So this episode will air after she's already left, but we wanted to film it before she left. So Taylor, welcome back to representing Leominster.
Thank you for having me on this side of the screen. It's fun.
And I just wanted to take a minute to talk about what was the most surprising thing about the job?
That's a great question. What's the most surprising thing? So I am honestly surprised at how much I could learn. I mean, I really wasn't involved in politics. I really didn't even know anything about government really much before I got the job. And I learned so much about how how government works, right? Like you have your city people and then you have your state people and then you have your federal people and what everybody's job is and what it really means for you to be a politician and what you do in your role and then what your staff does and how many different hats and it's absolutely insane if you ever get an opportunity out in the community to really talk to Natalie and ask her what she does on a daily basis and ask my future replacement, what they do on a daily basis. It's really mind-blowing because you just help so many people on so many different levels. Education, and it's unbelievable. So I think that's the most surprising thing is how much you do in a day, how much the office can accomplish in, whatever amount of time. It's remarkable.
Yeah, too many days, I think we catch ourselves going oh, it's Thursday, right? No, it's Monday. We have just fit so many things into one day. We think many days have passed.
Absolutely.
And I'm so thankful for you to be a good sport with how crazy it is. Because
Absolutely.
For folks who don't know Taylor's background, I was really, I wanted to make sure that no matter what, folks in this role in my legislative aide understood Leominster and understood the community. So I really wanted to find people from Leominster. And in Taylor's case, I knew that she could handle the craziness of the job, although she wasn't really familiar. The first meeting that we had when I said, hey, I think you'd be good for this, I remember you were like, so I'm going to be your secretary?
Yeah, I did.
What is a legislative aide?
Yeah, I remember you had said the word constituent services to me. And I was like, can I stop you? What does constituent mean? I didn't even know what I was getting into, but it's been a ride.
But Taylor and I have known each other for a long time, since we were kids, since I was in middle school and she was in elementary school, and I had all the faith that you were either going to love the job or hate the job, but that you could handle the craziness. Because with a background in retail and hospitality, that is the perfect background to do constituent services.
Really? Who would have thunk? Pizza girl turned legislative aide. It would have been just a right transition.
And so speaking of constituent services, what are some of your favorite things that we got to work on?
I mean, it really just the whole constituent services piece, I'd say. It's coming from that customer service background, I really looked at every constituent issue just from a place of my heart, right? What can I do to help this person? I mean, they're struggling with whatever it may be, whether it's housing, unemployment, food benefits, workers' comp stuff, things that really impact someone's day-to-day livelihood, and they've just hit so many, brick walls, red tape, they just can't get past it, and here they are at their wits' end, and they call our office, and I mean, the least I could do is be nice to them and come at it with a compassionate point of view, and it's just been remarkable. I always love that part about my past jobs, being in customer service. I mean, making someone happy, you make them their favorite pizza, or being a bartender and getting them their favorite cocktail or whatever it may be, and just making them happy for that small instance. But being able to do that on such a larger scale, you'd be able to find them homes, being able to help them put food on the table. It's really emotionally fulfilling, as heavy at the same time, but it really I'm definitely going to miss that. Absolutely.
And what are some of your other just favorite moments about the job, like reflecting on 2.5 years?
Yeah, so I was thinking about that on the way in today, and I think one of my favorite moments, I mean, we've spent so much time together over the past 2.5 years. I've really gotten to know you as a human, not just as a boss or as a politician. And I think one of our favorite moments was when we were with a constituent and we were learning about vernal pools. And he was taking us up into like the Samoset brook, I don't know what it's called, the Samoset Dam, or put us in a canoe. And it occurred to me, I was like, have you ever been in a canoe before? And you were like, nope. So it was just, we like hopped into this canoe and you just had never done it. It was just like so mind blowing, and that was a really awesome moment. And we were just like, here we are, just state rep, legislative aid, just rowing along, gonna go check out some vernal pools. No big deal.
And of course, I ask, as we're like halfway through this trip, has any of the other state reps or senators taken you up on this? And he was like, no, you're the first. And I was like, really? Oh, okay.
Wonder why. No,
it was trying to dodge trees.
Oh man, just those fun, like the human connections that we've had, and the experiences, the tours we've been on, the things that we've seen. The not your normal part of the job.
Yeah.
But normal part of the state rep's job.
Yeah, you just unexpected. People and I think that's, we've gotten to check out so many different things from local manufacturers and learning about what they're doing, to just community volunteers and learning about the programs that they're involved with and what they love, and inviting me to come in. And that has been the coolest part of this job, to be able to just see what people care about and love, and get to celebrate that and get to bring that to a larger audience, because there's so many amazing things happening in Leominster and across the state.
It's remarkable. It's remarkable. I mean, that most recent tour we went on in Leominster, and they had that collection of all those little prized goods that they've collected over the years, with like the little old medicine bottles, and it was just like, oh, it was absolutely remarkable. Remarkable.
Yeah. And just getting to see the diversity in our community, and all of that, and just how creative Leominster residents and workers are. It's cool. Really, really great.
I will forever. Leominster has always held a special place in my heart, but that special place has just grown quite larger since.
So you're not going really anywhere, but could you let folks know what the new chapter of your life is?
Absolutely. So, when we met, I was 8 years old, and you were, 13?
Yeah.
You were the stage manager to my dad's middle school production of The Wizard of Oz way back when, and that was not just the first day I met Natalie Higgins, but also the first day I was handed a power tool. My dad being a music teacher, and he had like 200 kids he had to take care of, and here I was wanting to help him build a set. And so what better way to take care of your kid? Give him a power tool, hand him off to a 13-year-old, and make sure she doesn't get hurt. So I've always kind of had this little back pocket trade that I love to do. Is I love to build things, and carpentry has been fun. I've built sets, did it in high school, won some awards for it, and so I just kind of recently went through a mental thing where I was like, what am I going to do with my life? Like, this job is really great, but I really want something more for myself. And so I learned that the Carpenters Union has a wonderful apprenticeship training program, and that's based out of Millbury, which is right outside of Worcester. And they pay their apprentices, and they offer some really great experiences, and are looking for more women and qualified workers to join the trade. So I have we're filming this episode at the end of May, and I have my interview tomorrow. And so I'm very excited for the hope that I'll be joining the Carpenters Union as a new apprentice.
And for other women that might be interested in joining, they have a campaign for 20% by 2020.
Yes.
Which is very ambitious for them. They're not necessarily close to that goal, but they're really trying to get better gender diversity in the trade.
Absolutely.
And obviously it's a really amazing job. Your dad was an iron worker, so just that ability to like be in a community and be like, oh, I worked on that. Like, I was a part of that.
Exactly. I'll never forget, like, growing up as a kid, we'd go on little road trips as a family, and we'd drive by a building, I built that. I hung the steel for that. I did this. I was the steeple boy, and I did the gold painting. It's like, he's just so cool. I'm excited. I really hope that this all works out, and that I'll be able to do have those same moments.
Well, I feel unbelievably confident in your ability to take on a new project, and they're going to be really lucky to have you. As sad as I am to see you go, and as great as it's been a partnership to have you really from the beginning. And a lot of folks don't realize that there's no manual for how to be a state representative, how to be a legislative aide. So it's kind of learn as you go.
Yeah.
And there are some things that we've done that aren't necessarily traditional in terms of how we orient our office. So being really focused on accessibility and making sure, as much as Taylor talked about constituent services that she really cares about, we still, 2.5 years in, have people who stop me in the community and say, hey, Natalie, I didn't want to bother you, but while you're here, can I ask you this question? I was like, bother me, please. Like, this is my job.
Yeah.
And for so many folks who wait until their unemployment check didn't come for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and now they're hitting financial hurdles.
Yeah, their mortgages due.
And we're like, please call us earlier, and trying to figure out how to spread that word. And it's been great with early morning office hours, evening office hours, making them more accessible.
Absolutely.
To just try to find any way, being at all the festivals. Leominster is a city of festivals, and it's a great opportunity for us to connect with folks. And please come and say hi, and especially if you have any questions, reach out to our office. Our contact information is always at the end of the episode, and even if you don't think that we can help, we usually can point you in the right direction or connect you with the right folks. If it's a local issue or a federal issue, we have great contacts with our city councilors, with our mayor's office, with our congressmen, to be able to get you the connections that you need. And so please take advantage of it, because we don't want you struggling with something that we can help with, especially if we hear it all the time, stuck on hold with one of our lovely state agencies. If you're on hold and you can't get through, call us, because we can get someone to call you back. And if it's just that one little bit of thing that we can help with, that makes us feel better, because we know your time is precious, and we don't want to make sure that you're tying it up trying to just get in touch with someone that you absolutely need to get in touch with. So the more that you can let us know, the better.
Yeah.
So we're going to be taking a little break in a minute to bring on with us our new legislative aide, but I wonder if there's anything else, any other memories from the last 2+ years.
I mean, there's so many to talk about, so many to count. But I just really want to say thank you for everything. I have learned so much in this job. There's not words to be able to express the opportunity that you gave me, and for believing in me, a girl who didn't have a college education. It was kind of a big deal. So thank you.
Yeah, no, and I cannot thank you. Folks don't realize how important, and I say this all the time when I meet with advocates, when they're coming to the State House, how important the staff is in our job. We cannot be all of the places we want to be at once, and our staff.
Although we try.
Our staff becomes an extension of us, and to be able to have that trust and know someone who cares so deeply about the community, that's such an important thing, and really hard to find. Because our job's not easy. It's a different schedule every different day. Every time that we have our schedule, we think it's figured out. We find out we've got a new session or something surprised, or we have this other meeting, and the schedule has to be ripped apart and put back together. And I talk about it all the time, like just maintaining a reasonable schedule is so hard, and a big part of your job that you didn't realize probably was going to be as hard as it was just maintaining event requests, constituent meetings, all of that.
That's a job in itself. It really is. Someday, if you ever get another staff person, that can be one job.
But I just want to thank you, and I'm so excited. And Taylor is not going anywhere. She's still a Leominster resident, so I'm still thrilled to have her as a constituent, and really, really excited to see her new career. So we're going to be back after the break with my new legislative aide, and I'm really excited to bring her on.
Yay.
So we'll be right back. Welcome back, and I am thrilled to be joined by Isabel Alera, who some of you know as a school committee member, and many more of you might know from seeing her at Market Basket, where she's been working, and her last day is tomorrow. She's getting ready to transition, and I'm so excited to have Isabel joining my staff as my new legislative aide. For folks who don't know, Isabel's been studying history and political science science at Worcester State University, and she is just about done. She just finished her junior year, but she has a few more classes left to wrap up her degree, and I'm super, super thankful to have been able to snag her for my staff. As sad as I am to see Taylor go, I'm really excited to work with Isabel and to have this opportunity to see kind of how our office is going to grow. With two brains are better than one, and I'm really excited to have a slightly fresher brain than maybe me and Taylor after 2.5 years in this job. Sometimes I'm looking forward to Isabel to be like, why are we doing it this way? This doesn't make sense. Because I'm sure there are many things that we do that take us a whole lot longer than we are used to.
I mean, we're only human, right? Like,
understandably. You know.
And now in our second term, obviously my priorities have shifted a little bit. We've gotten our constituent services down. We kind of know who our liaisons are, know how to handle most of the issues, although every week we get a new one that is a surprising one. But shifting into legislative, kind of focusing on the legislative issues, and that I filed 30 bills, I'm really excited to have your assistance with the constituent services and figure out just how to be a little more effective pushing legislation forward. And so I wanted to find out kind of what you're most hopeful for in this job. Like, why do you want to be a legislative aide? Why would you sign up for this?
I mean, getting to talk to Taylor, it's just so rewarding to be able to help so many people, and just in one day, helping so many people, whether it's with housing or food or workers' comp, all of those things that really affect someone's day, month, year. I think that is what's going to be the most exciting portion, because I do come from human services at Market Basket. We help people find groceries. It's not necessarily the same thing, but helping people with their everyday lives is going to be so rewarding and fulfilling for me.
Yeah, and what about your time at Worcester State? You have been studying political science, history.
It's so exciting. I have campaigned on my own. I've campaigned for other people, and a lot of professors have asked me to speak on that in the classroom, which is fun and also a little weird, because I have the experience and my other students don't, and they're like, oh, why is she speaking on this? But it's exciting to see legislation in action after studying it, and being at the State House is going to be so exciting, just to see where it all goes on, and just the how it works behind the scenes too. So it's going to be really, really exciting, especially after learning how the process works in the classroom. Seeing it hands-on is going to be really, really exciting for me.
The best or worst piece of advice I got from a UMass professor when I was studying political science was, you're all wasting your time. Like, you can't learn this in a classroom. You have to learn it on the job. And, and I didn't appreciate that when I was going to class and finishing my degree, but at the same time, now living it, I absolutely appreciate what he was trying to say.
And you're saying, what do you mean? I should be learning everything I'm supposed to right now. And no, that's not how it works.
You can learn the theory, but in reality, trying to figure out how to balance your community's needs versus how to build relationships with 159 other reps and the staff. I mean, Taylor has built such a great relationship with so many of the staff in the building, and we help each other out, and we're always there to kind of assist, and some people become experts in. We have our people that we call when it's a transportation issue or a homelessness issue. Like, there have been folks that have been really able to help us figure out how to get creative when we hit a roadblock trying to help a constituent, because obviously in 2.5 years we've seen a lot, but we haven't seen all of the issues.
It's definitely a crazy building. Just talking, I mean,
just being in
the physicality of the building to begin with, right? It's a maze. Like, there's a road that runs halfway through it at one point, and then just the dynamics.
There's 3 different sub-basements, so you could end up in a basement and not know where you. I continue to occasionally end up in the wrong basement, depending on the wrong elevator, and go, well, that wasn't where I was trying to go.
And it's also a museum, right? In a way, so like you're in your office just getting things done. I have to go to the next meeting. You try to hop on an elevator, and there's a group of 50 elementary schoolers.
50 fifth graders just coming to tour.
I gotta go to this meeting.
And if any of you are coming to the State House, please let us know, because we would love to help show you around, because we try really hard I try to go on the tours with our constituents, because I don't get to take a minute to enjoy the fact that I'm in such an amazing building, and it's the longest still standing state house in the country. Like, and we have the oldest constitution. Our U.S. Constitution is modeled after the Massachusetts Constitution. We have so much pride in
just
the
being
role
in
that
there
we played.
is so cool. So to take a minute to have people tour them around.
Yeah, and it's just really, really special to go into the chamber, and it's still that moment where I look up and I see my name on the board and go catch my breath a little bit, because it's just really special to be able to get to do this and share it with folks. And I was meeting with some students, 2 female students that were 9th graders earlier this week, and those are my favorite meetings. But I told them, it was like, I feel really special that I get to be one of the first 200 women elected to the Massachusetts legislature. That's amazing. It's also 2019, and I'm only one of the first 200 women, and we've elected 20,000 men. So I was really excited to say, so I need your help. I'm going to need you to run. And one of them had already been thinking about running for office, whether local or state. And then the other one was like, you know what, after this, I'm really excited. I might, this actually seems like something I could do. And the more that we can show that I remind people all the time that I am just your neighbor with what I think is an exceptional job, and I love my job. I love that I get to do this, but ask me for coffee, come to my office hours, because I want to hear from you, and I'm only as good of a state representative if I'm hearing from my constituents. So after talking to Taylor, what are you excited to work on? What are you nervous about?
I'm a little nervous about knowing who to contact when a case is brought to me, because you have the liaisons down pat on who you talk to, and so I'm still learning, but I'm really excited to again help whoever I can, whenever I can, and so I just want to make sure everything goes smoothly, continue to keep the office running smooth. It's different, it's a transition period, so. Yeah,
and you're going to get to know folks from our senior coffee hours.
Yeah,
so folks
absolutely.
might not know, but we go and do 3 senior coffee hours a month. We pop into the senior center. The Golden Agers are so great in inviting me in to one of their meetings a month at the beginning of the month, and then we stop into the 2 high rises. And it's a great time also for us to slow down a little bit for the week and just talk about what's going on that month and figure out it's a great time to have a discussion, and the discussions that we have about policy issues and just things that they're dealing with are really, really great. And we're taking up some really cool legislation later this year in terms of education funding. Your role on the school committee, you understand how Leominster has struggled.
We're very excited to hear that.
And beyond that, healthcare financing, which impacts every single one of our families. And this is the first time I'm on the committee, so we're going to have a unique role in working on that kind of big bill that comes out of the committee, and that's going to have a direct impact on people's lives, because we're trying to figure out how to bring down prescription costs, how to make sure people who have coverage have better coverage, and just making sure that your bills, you pay a lot for your insurance, and often it feels like nothing is covered by your insurance. I feel that too. Every time I go to the doctor, I'm like, why am I getting another bill? I already paid. And so how can we, even though Massachusetts leads in having coverage, making sure that coverage is real?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So exciting stuff coming, which, we're thrilled about the education funding bills.
So important.
See how that plays out.
A fun fact that we didn't realize until Taylor and I, you heard our story of how we met, but Isabel also has a background in theater.
I do.
And fun fact, apparently everyone in the Massachusetts legislature has a background in theater.
So many people. So many.
You have to do theater to work in the state house. That's just how it works. That's the rule.
I think it just really helps with people feeling that kind of that fake it till you make it confidence.
Yeah, that confidence, being comfortable, all of that.
Because we're meeting people constantly, whether it's constituents or advocates or lobbyists or just other legislators and their staff, and trying to build those relationships, and that just being able to kind of find out what they're interested in and what motivates them is really helpful in all of us. We need to learn about each other to be able to do our work well.
Yeah.
Because it's not just having a good idea. There's 6,000 bills, lots of the vast majority of them are great ideas, and only a few hundred bills are lucky enough to get passed every year. So figuring out how to get our stuff to that short list.
I'm excited to have you see the process.
I know, I'm excited to see the process.
That was never something that like I was really interested in. But then there was a moment, it was like one of the first things that we had been really involved in. And I was like, oh my God, it's happening. Like right now, like it's
Something's
happening.
going to happen.
They're like on the House floor and they're debating and they're talking about it. And oh, that's a good point. Oh my goodness, like it's a great moment.
Yeah,
you're gonna feel that nice warm fuzzy feeling when that happens. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because the bread and butter of what we do is helping people with constituent issues, but we just passed this week the hands-free driving bill that I have had so many folks advocating for, and I'm one that is going to have to adjust. I take a lot of my meetings on the phone when I'm driving because it's kind of my one downtime. But now I just got my little dock to be able to put my phone so that I'm not touching it at least. And this is a really big thing that's going to change people's lives. And I sit on the complete 4th division, so it's like the right side of the legislature when you're looking at the rostrum. And there were 3 gentlemen who had lost their kids to distracted driving accidents. And it was just really special to share this day with them. And one of them had been working on this for 12 years.
Oh my gosh.
And I can't even imagine the pain of losing your child unexpectedly. But to be working on this issue for 12 years and then to see
it come to fruition,
be in the chamber when we finally passed it, and to be there and to shake his hand and say like congratulations, that is just
that's
a really special. But to the point of one of the last pieces of legislation like that we passed last session, and it broke every rule. Like every time I tell a constituent, this is how a bill passes and this is how it makes its way through the legislature, this broke every single rule. Because it was like, an informal session, nothing of substance passes. Like we break in July 31 in an election year, and we're an informal for the rest of the year. And we had this one tiny fix that would have matched state law with federal law around tax law for survivors, mostly survivors of domestic violence. Financial abuse is one of those many ways that your domestic violence abuser kind of connects you to them, tethers you to them. And this was just this tiny, tiny little change, and it hadn't made it through. And come almost November,
New Year's Eve, when
we knew it was going to pass in the House, that we were able to get it through in the House. And then it kind of just stalled in the Senate. And it was New Year's Eve, the last day of session. They finally were able to get it through, and we knew the governor would sign it once it hit his desk. And so it was this kind of very quiet way, like anticlimactic. We weren't in session. There weren't big speeches on the floor about it.
So
but for the few dozen people that we knew their stories that this would impact, that their lives had been put on hold because they were liable for this tax liability that they didn't have any part in. That at the federal level, they were fine. They were exempt. They were cleared, but they were still stuck in limbo on the state level. And how that's going to change their lives and just give them that financial freedom to move on from that relationship was really, really, really
that was
special.
a little big win.
It's just
little big wins.
And so many of those things are these little changes that really impact people in a really big way. And it's really special to get to. If I wasn't in this role, I wouldn't necessarily know about this gap in the law.
Absolutely.
And to be able to work on that was really, really great.
Yeah.
So
special.
We're super excited. So you should all come and visit Isabel when she gets started in June.
Absolutely.
We'll have our same office hours Monday nights at the Leominster Library from 5:30 to 7. In June, we'll still be at the Leominster High School from 7 to 8 a.m. in the morning. July and August, because the school is out, we're going to do them by appointment in our office. So just give us a call at 978-227-5278. And please reach out. If there's any way that you think we can be helping you, let us know. Even if we don't have the answer right away, we're going to find it, and we're going to find out the right person. Like, that's the easiest thing for us to do. And it's still, I don't know, Taylor, to you, like, the most surprising thing is when we call people back.
Oh my gosh.
And people are like, thank you for calling me back.
Yeah, they call us and they leave a message, and we call them back. And they're like,
that shouldn't
you called me back.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a surprise.
Of course. You call me, I call you back. Like, it's okay.
But I think that one of the many reasons why folks are so frustrated with government is there often is so much bureaucracy that you're getting trapped up in. And admittedly, we have a lot on our plates, but the least we can do is call folks back. It might take a little bit for us to get the right person on the phone and get a hold of them and get a resolution, but we can stay in touch with you throughout that process.
Absolutely.
So I'm so excited to have Isabel joining my team and for you all to get to know her, because I think she's going to do an awesome job, and I'm excited to work with her, and I'm so excited for Taylor and her new path, and I'm excited to see all of the things that she builds. And
be cool.
I want to thank you all for tuning in to the June episode, and we will see you soon. Thanks, Leominster.